You've descended into the Bottom Dwellers Dive Shack, a commercial diving podcast by working divers for divers. All right, well, it looks like Les just popped in. Hey, how's it going, Les? How are you?
I'm in, man.
How you doing?
So,
How you guys doing?
Doing good. So my name's Armando, and this is
I'm Johnny.
Johnny right here. Yeah,
John,
so
I see John.
we are super excited to have you here. Probably more excited than normal.
Right.
Hey, thanks for the invitation. Where are you guys at? In California?
We're in Long Beach, California.
Long Beach, California.
Yep. So the other side of the country here. And you're in Florida, right? You said you're in the Keys. How are the Keys?
Yeah, I'm in the Keys, man. I never say I'm in Florida. I'm in the Florida Keys. I'm on an island.
It's kind of its own different thing down there, huh? It's definitely a different vibe.
Even if we would have, 50 degrees in Miami, that here is going to be 65, So.
Oh, nice. Are you one of those people when the hurricane comes, I'm not leaving.
Right,
I'm staying here.
Yep. One of
That's
those.
what I'm saying. Those people in the Keys, man, they're some of the bravest, I tell you. I used to live in Central Florida. I used to live out there for 6 years in Orlando area, St. Cloud, Kissimmee. Yeah. So I traveled the state quite a bit. I was able to see pretty much the whole state of Florida while I was out there in 6 years working for a small diving company. At the time, it was called Infrastructure Engineers. So it was an engineering company. A buddy of mine said he kind of knew you when you were first coming out with the hat. Jeff Lane, does that ring a bell?
Yeah. Of course I know Jeff, yes.
Yeah. So I haven't talked to him in a while. I need to touch base with him. But he first kind of told me about your hat and then did some of the research. And wow, 10 years later, what a ride, huh?
Yeah, no kidding. Yeah, that's for me it's 20 years later.
Oh, there you go.
From the first prototype. That's why I call it G2000. Hey, you guys see me or no? I don't see myself.
No, I don't see you.
Yeah, we can't see you.
Yeah, you have to turn the video on. So there's the camera icon in the bottom left.
Oh, okay. Yeah, that's why I was looking that I didn't.
There you go. Hey, how are you? Now we got you.
The keys bomb.
Nice.
Yeah.
All right.
No, yeah. I started basically with this stainless helmet. I started. How was it? In a very late 90s, and because I had first a bronze helmet, and so I'm, that basically is 20 years of, fighting with that helmet. But long story, yeah.
No, I mean, that's one of the questions that we were kind of wondering is when did you start, the whole concept, when did you start thinking like, hey, I think I need to design a new helmet or I need to come up with a different dive hat, it doesn't pop up like that, does it?
Yeah, everybody was telling me, you can buy a Superlight. Why are you building your own helmets,
So
the whole idea.
Never a Superlight guy, huh?
Well, I'm sorry?
So you never were a Superlight guy?
Oh, no, I had a couple Superlights. I don't know if you know the full story. I was born and raised in Poland behind the Iron Curtain, So we had nothing. We had no money to buy anything from the West world. I didn't even see really pictures of a Superlight, And, but that's why I started playing with equipment back in Poland because I was basically, just we didn't have anything but scuba and very poor quality scuba, behind it.
Right.
So all cold water, all murky, and there's no Caribbean world over there, and it was pretty rough, but not too many. Nobody knew if you said a diver, the word diver in Polish, that a what? Like what do you do underwater? What you can do underwater? So there was, I don't know if there was 100 scuba divers at that time in Poland. Now it's totally different world.
Going back.
Poland is more capitalistic than America, I think, now.
Really going off of that, the Iron Curtain being in communist Europe at the time, really, can you discuss like the necessity of learning to not only maybe build, but maintain the stuff that you had or was donated by the Army? You were in the Army, by the way, correct?
Yeah. I was that, you know, that in Poland, that if you don't join the army, you join the political jail, and they will kill you in it, you know. So
Right.
it's a very simple choice, you know. So
Right.
I did my 2 years, and then after, you know, there was 5 years of reserve. So they can call you anytime, and they did. But yeah, that was kind of, you know, no choice, and you have to, you know, you were drafted and you have to do it. That's it. Bottom
Very
line.
hard to acquire gear in a
Yeah. That, you know, what did help me with some contacts with my buddies, for example, you know, there's a lot of different stories. It just popped to me that my first communication, for example, was I got from T-34, the Second World War Russian tanks. The T-34, that I took that communication. Oh my God! What do you call it? The internal communication in the tank. That blew up the world. By the way, my accent, I left Poland. I escaped from Poland when I was 31. And that's why I really started learning English. So for the kids, it's really easy, but for an older guy, you know, that you're never going to get rid of that accent. There's no way. So, you know, my kids.
It makes you sound more refined.
Yeah. my kids were 7 and 9 when they came here. And, you know, we all went through Spain, through Madrid. And I went to American Embassy and asked for political asylum. And that's basically, you know, I came here with green cards, you know, so, yeah, the whole thing was like I was talking about the communication. I used this on the first time we were doing a job on a dam in Poland, and just an inspection, and there was really, I think I don't know if I got that picture somewhere, but there's quite a few pictures on the internet probably, but what I'm saying is that there was I had that comms. Let me see if yeah, I don't know if I can blow this thing if you're gonna see it. That was where's my camera?
Yeah, right there. Okay, yeah, I think I have seen that picture before. Yep.
Oh, you've seen a picture? So this is basically, I don't think we ever went in the center to the bottom, but there was 230 feet, 70 meters, you know, down.
Oh, wow.
And I put that speaker on my left ear. I installed it there. So this is, as you can see, the hood. I modified the port is round and I could screw it on, but it was actually like Jack Brown, the Esco Jack Brown, the triangle. And I took it out and I mounted that one that I can unscrew. And you were telling me about the beer, but in Poland, everybody just drinks straight vodka. So when I was coming up, I just take a bottle of vodka and drink a vodka, you know, instead of beer. But the hood had a harness on it, and I had a throat mic, you know, on my throat, and from the tank. And what I did not think of at this time, you know, the seal that I made with the rubber shroud on the speaker and pulled this tight with that freaking harness. And when I dove, like on this dam, we were going down very quick. We had only double bottles. There was no surface supply. I didn't know about the surface supply.
So you were already modifying and tinkering with dive gear.
Yeah. That's how we all started. And I went down, and because I was going so fast, you would not believe it, I completely sucked out my left ear. I mean, I ripped off a skin from the bone. You know, the membrane broke off, of course, but you suck everything out. So when I reached surface, you know, the blood was everywhere. They took me to hospital, you know, and they couldn't do anything over there because he was swollen. So he gave me antibiotics. And when I came back to my town, the doctor, you know, that he fixed it completely. So right now, if doctor is looking in my left ear, And it's like, what the hell happened here? You know, yeah, I can't even really stick a Q-tip in it.
Oh wow. You
So,
like ground beef in your left ear, huh?
yeah.
I'm guessing the doctor fixed it by pouring vodka on it.
Yeah, but see, the whole thing, this is what I'm saying. That's what I'm getting to. That we didn't have any equipment. I was just playing with this, and that's how I got. This is also my personality, and I started making helmets. I started making helmets in the States, and I got one. I don't know if you guys seen those helmets. I got one that I took a Bell motorcycle helmet, and I make it to free flow helmet.
I did. I saw that one. That was very
Yeah,
impressive.
and then then I got into this silicone bronze. I made like 6 helmets, out of that, and then I realized that if I really want to do something, there was like my dream to do a stainless hat. And to me, I knew that I gotta be different because I'd be sued by, the Morgan. So, and by the way, I can tell you that right now that I was always very good friends. You guys know Mike Ward in Panama City?
Yes. Actually, now that you brought it up, Mike Ward's going to be on the show pretty soon, in a couple of weeks.
Well, that's one of my best friends. He always
Nice.
comes here to the Keys, and he will tell you he bring my Bev Morgan gave him that Winnebago, that bus before he died.
Mhm.
And and Mike always drives that when they open the lobster season. So he comes here and he stays on my property, and we go take my boat and we go lobstering. And he always brings his helmets, and I got mine, and I got my boat is set up for a surface supply here because that's diesel boat. And so I can take, I got the whole surface supply. I take it outside and we dive helmets, on the reef and shit. But yeah, that's so I never been, I never tried to become a competition, go to work with anybody. It was just that I just built my shit and just promote. I knew that I can't compete, with DSI. They've been here, years ahead of me. They've been at the right time. They got all the contacts. I was trying with every possible, the whole Navy and Army diving, that they dove my helmet, and there's no way that I can get in, So it's they would have to scrap all the super lights that they have, and I was talking through my friends, made a lot of, contacts and friends, and I was talking to all these guys, and I'm in the highest level, at like Navy, for example, that they know about me, about my helmet. If guy is saying that, what do you want me to tell the admiral? To scrap all the freaking super lights and buy Gorski? And there would be millions and millions to throw, So, and I understand.
But why couldn't they just throw in like a couple Gorskis in there with it? Was it some kind of deal they had?
That's a different procedure. This is all politics. That's not
weird.
like that. See, I'll tell you what was happening, for example, here. I don't know if you guys heard on the Fleming Island off of Key West. It's that SF school, Army School, Special Forces, the Delta Force. And I've been in that school quite a few times. I went on one occasion that I took my whole shit, I put it in a truck. I had umbilical. I told them only, I said, they like, can we help you with something? I said, just furnish me a couple of ADs. That's it, scuba bottles. And I took a manifold. I took, radio, my radio, the manifold, the hose and a helmet and, the harness and all that shit. And I got in, and they were like, do you need a hand? Can we help you? There was like, 15 guys, the SF guys. And I said, no, I want you to just check me out. Look I'm doing it on purpose, but look at what one old man can do with this, how fast I can set this up. And I just, set up everything on it. And one guy jumped in. No, one. There was more guys, but the one guy, the commander, he said that I want him first. And I want his opinion. The guy jumped in, and that master diver, I told him, I said, now is your show. Get on the radio and you talk to him. So he got on the radio. The guy was diving in it, and he came out, and that major, that commander, you know, he's like, so what do you think? And he came out. He said, I'm going to tell you exactly what he said. And he looked at him and said, what I think? I want the fucking helmet. I want one. So that was exactly, and that major is like, I guess we're going to buy one. So now this shit went to the general. And general is like, a special forces surface supply, what do you need that for? And he said, this is only for search and recovery. If we have something set up, and we can really put the way he built, the way that he showed me, show him up, you know, how to use it, that they can put it on a plane, dump it in a place, and just go for recovery. And there's, of course, advantage that you got a guy on the hose, you got the surface supply, you got a full communication. I don't need to tell you guys those. So, you know, that's how close I was getting to this. And that came in that every 2 years, there's a new commander. I already met with 4 commanders here. Every 2 years, they change. And the last one, I could not, there was no chemistry. Those previous 3 were really good guys. They were with me. I thought I really got that deal going. And the last guy, man, I could not communicate with him. You know, I mean, I don't bend over. I don't fucking suck dicks. And I you know, I was just flat, you know, with him. I said, this is what I can do. And this is how we can put this thing together, you know. So I said, from this point, you know, you want something, you contact me. And, you know, never went through. So this is what I'm saying, where I hit the barriers, you know.
So you had to do a lot of footwork, right? Back then when you were first trying to, you know, sell the hats.
God.
So I wanted to talk about how it was in the very beginning. So you were a commercial diver, you fled Europe, you were already diving in Europe with the Scuba Club and different, you know, companies, I'm sure. So you get here to the States. Who do you start diving for here in the States?
Well, I did I didn't know, you know, first what to do. I was, when I got first, I had I ended up in Chicago for like 4 months. And there was, you know, I wasn't speaking English. I thought I tried to learn something myself. You know, when I was a kid, they taught me fluent Russian, but not English, you know. So, so that, at that point, you know, I had to pass through that barrier of language and see what I can do without American license. So I was an American license. Then I find out about the school in Houston, Ocean Corporation. Okay. And I just took off with my wife, and you know, we went from Chicago to Houston, and that was kind of a nightmare because I didn't have any money. You know, I didn't know if I'm going to make it. And actually, the sponsors in Chicago, the whole thing is a too long story. You guys know about Siberia in '39, yeah? The Hitler came from west and Stalin came from east. And Stalin took my father's family to Siberia. The whole family ended up in Siberia. My father was the oldest one, and he stayed with his mom. And there was, I'm not going to stress that subject, just generally, there was one Polish general that had picked up all the kids he could from Siberia, took them through India, Mexico, and they end up, I had 2 uncles and aunts in Chicago and Toronto. Okay. So one of these people my father's sister was sponsoring me in Chicago. And they were like, you know, they said, why don't you stay in Chicago? I can get you a job, my uncle, you know, that I can get you a job in some spring factory, you know, something like that. I said, I'm a freaking diver. I'm not going to work in a factory, you know. So I took out, and then, you know, not having any money at that time, there was 85. In 85, that school, Ocean Corp, was the last night class. The night class didn't have a welding course. And I was, even being with the class, I was the demo diver because I was a good welder and I knew how to weld underwater from Poland. So I didn't need that. And, you know, that class cost $4,500 at that time.
Wow.
And at this time,
Imagine
Yeah.
like that.
At this time, I was actually, me and my wife, we were starving in America, going through this, you know. So it's a long story, but we were free. We were in America. We didn't have money, but, you know, start working. Meantime, I got a job in the brake check, you know, $3.75 an hour, shit like this. So, and that was night class, so I could work in the morning, you know, in the brake check and
Who needs to
and,
sleep, right?
yeah. So, you know, anyway, I graduated that school. I went offshore with Ocean Tech. I don't know if you guys ever heard that name, because they, in the late 80s, the shit hit the fan, and I mean, it really, the oil went down. They started shutting down a lot of dive companies. And Ocean Tech shut down 3. Basically, they had a shop in Corpus Christi, Houston, and Louisiana, and they shut down everything. They bankrupt, you know. So I was not even full 2 years, something like that, and I was working offshore then. And, you know, coming out, that was my first job. But see that, again, there's too much story, too long story. When we left Poland, I left it with my wife. And we left the kids with her parents because we didn't get passports. There was one guy, KGB, that he kept the kids as hostages, so we come back, you know.
Oh,
I
wow.
took a chance. I took a chance and I won. The kids came to us in 1 year and 17 days, and they landed in Houston. We fought for this. We were, you know, trying to get this thing done, and a lot of different things happened that I'm not even gonna talk. You know, one of those things that helped me a lot, that even CIA told me that, you know, you're very welcome in America, you know. So that type of stuff were happening, and you know, I was at that time, my kids landed in you know, came after the year, it came into the States. And most of guys, divers, you know, that were in that company, they said, listen, we can, you know, we can help you out. You know, let's go with us to Louisiana. I said, listen, I pulled my family through a freaking hell. You know,
Well, you're a diver. That's what we do.
I just got, yeah, I said, I just got, you know, and I promised them different shit. I promised them America. And now I'm just dragging them, you know, they didn't understand. But at the same time, what happened that, you guys know the name Les Joyner? He was the president of Ocean Corporation, Les Joyner. And Les called me and he said, you know, everything is going to shit right now. Just come back to Ocean Corp and, you know, you can teach underwater welding and burning. And I was, obviously, I'm very good with equipment, all kind of equipment. So I was fixing everything. And then the other name came by at the same time, Ray Spillers. Ray was a Navy diver. Ray is right now at 83, I think. He had his own company, had to shut it down. But when we start talking, he reopened it. I mean, we reopened it. And we were doing tons of inshore. Everything switched from offshore to inshore. So he had his contacts. I was running that, and you know, we had, like, just for example, contact with Exxon in Baytown, east side of Houston, that I did all small repairs and most of inspections and everything for, I think, like at least 7 years, 8 years.
Oh, wow.
I mean, constant. There was like a fixed job. They didn't call any other company. They called us immediately, and, you know, they want me on the job site, and, you know, I was just doing that.
So when it was slowing down, did you ever think that I might have to do something different, or did you just?
Well, I was always a welder. I was a really good welder.
Oh, good.
So I got different contacts, and you know, when the machine shops, I always have a welder. I always, you know, I am pretty good, really welder.
I know as divers, we always have to have a plan B, C, and D.
Yeah. There was, with me, it was welding and, you know, and construction and stuff like that. So, you know, I'm a very handy, obviously, if I can build a helmet design and shit, you know. So, but that was my thing. That I always, you know, I always had a backup plan with the welding. you know,
So
all different.
I'm sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt.
No, no,
you.
go ahead.
So did you get a lot of support from like your diving buddies in the diving community when you were starting to talk about building your own hat? Like, did you get?
Not with the hat, not with the helmet,
No?
but yes, I had, you know, that everybody seems to try to help us, you know. They know that I came in and I was a diver and all that other stuff. So I had a lot of buddies that they, seriously, there was, you know, you didn't have the kind of treatment in Poland. And here it was really amazing. I'm not trying to fantasize or anything. That's the real truth, you know. I had a lot of buddies, really good friend like that. They deal with the Louisiana. Man, come on, you know. I had guys from Hawaii, you know. The man, gee, you got to come here. And I would probably go to Hawaii if that job, the whole job, there was a contract for like 5-year contract, basically chipping concrete on the pier. And they use
That's easy kick
scuba.
stuff too.
If they drop a tool, they have a scuba mask to go and pick this up. That was the whole diving.
Oh, nice.
So I was like, I don't know, you know, and I was doing really good on the inshore here. And man, I mean, we were busy, you know. At this time was late 80s, beginning of 90s, government issued that requirement for inspection on all the pipelines through the United States. And we were doing inspection and repairs. Man, I was constantly busy. So, you know, it was just that type of a deal. But then, like I said, I built that, you know, I built this motorcycle helmet, and, you know, I got on one job, that was in San Antonio. I did basically 3 months, and it was winter months in San Antonio. On a dam, we were putting a second layer of a second set of gates on 5 bays of that dam.
Oh, nice.
And I remember I was asking the general contractor, I said, why in the hell, you know, we doing this thing? And he said, because of terrorist threats. I'm talking late 80s. I said, what terrorists?
Right.
What are you
Underwater
talking
terrorists.
I said, in San Antonio, terrorists? I heard something in the Middle East or something, but what are you talking about? You know?
Hey, but that's work for you though, and that's work at depth too. So you're getting that depth.
So that was solid. I mean, solid welding. What we were putting like railroads. You know, we were putting down for that gates, and that was all day welding. We weld those to the frame. So
that's the fun welding because it don't got to look pretty.
No, yeah, I know. But and the other thing was that I did this whole job in that motorcycle helmet, and then I dove on the deeper jobs. The funny thing was, and I don't know, I shouldn't say it on the camera or loud, or I never had a Bela bottle with that helmet.
Oh my God! You just freaked out Armando.
Yeah.
Armando's dying now.
That's it. This interview's over.
He's the biggest stickler on safety I've ever seen.
I brought that up before. A lot of the old timers didn't even have bailouts.
Yeah, I know what I'm saying.
Common.
I know, you know, I was that, you know, hard-headed, stubborn Polak that, you know, I was always going with my own thing. And I understand, you know, what I'm saying. That's what I said. I understand what's wrong, what's right. And, you know, I was just lucky that I survived all of that, you know. Of course, this is not right. And on top of this on the dam was a 30 feet depth, you know.
Oh, so it wasn't that deep then.
I did the Bahamas when the max was 160 without Bela bottle.
And
helmet.
And the motorcycle helmet?
Wow. Talk about testing.
And the motorcycle helmet, the 30?
Yeah, I'm a motorcycle helmet. So, you know, so there was the things that I wouldn't do it again, you know. Especially like if we do stuff here, man, I mean, you know, I had Navy guys coming here on the pier. I had all Canadian Navy, West Coast, East Coast. They came here. I trained them. They all got the helmets. They bought the helmet. Niagara Falls, Canadian Niagara Falls Police got my helmets, you know.
It's awesome.
I mean, especially with the police, I got Houston Police, Corpus Christi Police, and Baytown, east side of Houston Police. They do have the helmets. All the police in Charleston dove the helmets, and Port Security Authority Police in Seattle, they dove the hats, and they didn't buy it yet, but they, well, I don't even know. Aqua Lung is owner of the helmet right now.
I'm just amazed, though, man, that you were doing all this groundwork, and it was pretty much by yourself, right? I mean, that's what you said.
Oh, yeah,
before.
I was one-man show.
And this is a one-man show.
Yeah.
That is crazy, because here I was thinking, you might have had a team of divers. That's why I asked you, did you have any support from the diving community?
No, not that. Not
what did some of your friends say when you were like, oh, I'm gonna, I'm building a diving helmet? Were they like, oh, crazy old ass or something? Or
they were like, I had a few guys. That's how I started, basically. They were like, man, can you build me a helmet? Can you build me a helmet? They bought the helmet, and basically,
you were known as the guy that was good with gear and tech, so you already had your name established, right? I mean, people already knew that you were good, that you were...
Yeah. There was, the word was spreading fast in the diving community. And, and the other thing is that in 2004, I had my first booth at UI in New Orleans. The first time I bought a booth, and since then, every year, it's the first year that there's no UI. That this year is no UI.
Yeah.
But there was UI every freaking year since 2004. I was at the booth, so that was the biggest exposure around the world. And I got helmets, shit, man. I got Peru, Chile, Japan. There's quite a few in Japan, Australia. So the helmets are around. People know about it, and like I said, right now it's all Aqua Lung. I'm just a consultant for Aqua Lung. So I'm not even on it like I was. Part of the buyout was 5 years working with them. Then they extended another 3 years. And now I don't even, Aqua Lung, with all that COVID shit and everything, that everything went down. So I don't know. It's kind of, things are getting down, but I still get contacted by a lot of guys, and that's why if you notice my number, I'm in the Keys. It's a 305 area code, and I got 218 my Houston number, because I can't change the number. Everybody, all the old guys, they all got my old number, so I'm not gonna dick with this thing. So I'm 218, 281, and So yeah, that's why I want to make sure that that everybody can get in touch with me.
All right. So where were we? I think
we're gonna take our vodka shot.
Oh yes,
that's
what we're
right.
gonna do. That's right.
In honor of Mr. Gorski here.
Well, I did too. I did. Oh, hold on. You got a vodka shot?
I got a vodka shot. You got another one?
Hold on. Let me get another one.
Yeah. Yeah. Right. So this episode's gonna be epic.
Epic?
Yeah.
Epic?
Possibly epic.
Oh my god. No way. Oh, we're recording.
That's all right. I might have to drive you home though.
Nah. Come on.
I don't know, man. I've seen you get a little toasted after 2 shiners.
That's because I was
Hey, this one is last time I was in Poland, I picked this up. It's Polish. Poland is over 1,000 years old, and Polish eagle should have the crown, and communists took it out. Through the communist time, Polish eagle did not have that crown. Now this one is with the crown.
Nice.
That's the new Poland.
Right on.
Hey, cheers, guys. It was.
Cheers.
Awesome. Cheers.
Oh yeah. So what kind of vodka did you have there? We've got Tito's vodka.
Tito's. Hey man. Tito's.
Nice.
That's local. That's good vodka, and we're not going to support different countries. Yeah.
Not on this podcast.
No way.
Not on this show.
Titos, of
America.
course.
America.
America. Yeah. Now, I'll tell you what, that's really, to me, I'm not going to talk politics or anything. I already lost a few friends, but,
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
you
Haven't we
know,
all?
if you grow behind that iron curtain, and there's a lot of people that they have no clue what communism is. They have no idea, because you have to be there for every second, minute, hour, day for years. I was 31 when I left that bullshit. That what they're trying to do, man, I'm so freaking disgusted that it's unreal. But
Yeah, well, socialism sounds good until it's implemented, right?
yeah. Most people just don't know that. If you don't experiencing that real communism, you see Venezuela, and you see North Korea, you see China, you see on the movies, you see on the news, and especially the news that fucking lying to you, that this is what, I can't tell you, what in a guy like me, I'm so proud American, that I came here and I can live in this country. I had the opportunity. And fucking trying to bring a goddamn communism here, This is, to me, I can't really, it's like I said, let's don't talk politics.
Yeah.
But
We try not to.
Right. But I completely agree with you.
Thank you.
Completely. 100%.
That's unbelievable.
Mhm.
Anyway,
So
going
we
back to diving.
We wanted to ask you about Aqua Lung. I think Johnny had a question.
Well, first we wanted to talk about the prototypes.
Oh, the prototypes. That's right.
The trial and errors of the prototypes. Did you don them on yourself, or were there some?
Of course he did.
I know, but I know that obviously. But
Yeah.
were there some of your crew, some of your guys who'd be like, "Yeah, I'll put that shit on. I don't care." And
No. This is despite Aqua Lung, if we go to 2000, the late 90s and to 2000, that's why I called my first prototype G for Gorski 2000
Mhm.
SS stainless steel.
Mhm.
So that was my corporation. That's when I started corporation G2000 SS. And when I had my first prototype, and this is, to me, personally, that's basically what I call my first ever stainless prototype, a $250,000 hat. Took me 5 years, shitload of money, blood, sweat, and tears. And I understand that nobody is gonna, understand this thing from the point that what do you have to go through to get to this point. And there was even one of my buddies, really good friend of mine that lives in Dauphin Island, Mobile, Alabama. He is basically a sailor. I mean, that dude, he escaped from East Germany, which was even worse than Poland.
Mhm.
Anyway, Uwe, his name. Uwe came to me and he said, I want #1. At some point, I said, Uwe, I'm never going to go through with this helmet. It's impossible. I'm running out of money. I'm running out of options. It's just utopia. I mean, it's not, this thing never going to work. And he said, I want #1. How much? He gave me $5,000 or something like that, $5,500, And I said, man, I hope, and he said, just keep the money and keep going. Don't tell me you're not going to succeed. And, I'm not giver up. I would never leave Poland if I was giving up, I mean, I took chance on my kids, So basically, Uwe got that #1. And because he is working with a lot of dive companies, was working out of Mobile, and he always had the helmet on the deck, and he let all the divers, whenever there was a different dive company, he let, one of the popular Miller diving, that guy died, Miller died for it. I'm not Miller, the helmet guy, not Ben Miller, no. There was a different Miller guy, and he had his dive company in Mobile. And so those guys were diving, and he let them use that helmet. And, I don't know, 5 years ago or something like that, he came to me and he put the helmet, you know, he came visit. No, it was more than 5 years ago because I was still in Houston. I mean, I lived in Richmond. I had a couple of acres ranch and shit, my shop and everything. And he came in, anyway, he came in and put the helmet on the table. I said, what are you doing? And he said, it's your helmet. I said, what do you mean, your helmet? You bought it from me. And he said, it was always your helmet. I didn't buy it from you, but I need helmet. I don't need a helmet. It was yours. I tried to help you. That's it. I said, you shit me. I said, this is your helmet. You pay me and this is your hat. He said, no, it's yours. I said, we're not going to argue. You want to keep it with me? You keep it with me. It's still your hat. So I remember when I moved here that there is, you guys heard about this history of diving museum in Isla Morada? Yeah, it's a really nice museum. And they keep bugging me about, you know, can I get some helmets over there? I said, listen, I'm going to lease a couple hats to you. And that's why I called Ove, and Ove said, do whatever you want. So the #1 production helmet, and I made one of this bronze helmet with Helena for set diving, you know, return hat, and it's in that museum on a lease. So I got 2 hats over there on that. But that's what I'm saying, that there was, you know, the things like Uwe, you know, that he just always want to help. You know, one of the best friends you can get. And that's how I was getting to with this first prototype. First time I went to Panama City and I went to Navy at that time. That's how I met Mike. And I went over there, I called them first, and, you know, they say, yeah, we'll test it for you. And so I left that helmet over there. They were testing that helmet. And what I did on my first ever prototype, it was trying to come a hat. And I don't know why I did this, but I put a first stage on the back of that helmet. That means you can run. They're trying to do this shit right now. But like Spiro in Sweden, you know, they doing that stuff that I could run high pressure hose with 3,000 PSI to the diver, and you can reduce that thing through the regulator. So there was that idea, which on the commercial market on the Gulf, it still didn't even pass through right now. So those guys, and there was, you know, and that regulator had one high flow port, and I thought I'm going to be able to handle 200 PSI, which was not enough. He was choking. Man, when they told me that that helmet is not breathing, you know, on when you pass like 60 feet, I don't remember, I got the report somewhere, you know. Anyway, it failed. And my hands fall down. And they told me why it failed. You know, I knew it because I said, you know, you would have to supply, and they did. On one occasion, they supplied 3,000 PSI with the glory. I mean, beautiful, perfect. But what I'm going to do with the hat?
Yeah.
Nothing. So I got back to the drawing board. Yeah. And I got that helmet back. I completely redesigned the back manifold. I put the back manifold, you know, that it was kind of bulky because I already had toolings made in Michigan. Yeah, I didn't tell you that part yet. But anyway, so they redone the tooling the cheapest way, and I still had a bulky manifold on the back. My first helmet. And then I'm looking at it, I said, no, this shit ain't gonna work, you know. And that's when I switched the manifolds, because I sold few helmets and I keep loading the money into the helmet. Okay. And that's why I completely redesigned the manifold. That's the one that is right now. Is directionally, you know, changed the direction of the hoses and stuff, you know. So, but yeah, the foundry, on the other hand, it took me actually almost, that's what was that 5 years. I could not find a foundry. There's a shitload of foundries around. But the problem was that the numbers they were giving me. It was like completely, I said, this shit never gonna fly. They're never gonna do it.
Because they're used to like big bulk orders, right? And you're coming at them.
Yeah, they were, how many thousands? How many thousands you looking for, you know?
Right.
I said, thousands, I need one right now. to start with, you know. And then I said I might be taking like 10 at a time, you know. So it was going nowhere. And I finally got one guy, as I talked to them, I got one guy that I, you know, found, and I called that guy and I said, listen, I was talking to a lot of founders, so don't waste your time. I told him basically what I'm doing, what I'm trying to do. And he said, you got IGES files on that? I said, everything is in a SolidWorks. I said, yeah, I do. He said, send me that on a shell. And I sent him that files. In about 15 minutes, the dude is calling me back. He's in Michigan. He called me back and he said, I'll do it. I said, listen, just slow down. I said, what do you mean you do it? Give me some numbers. And he said, I will do that for you. I want to do it. I said, what are you talking about? I said, I need to know, you know. He said, I want to do it. I want to be a part of that. That's how, you know, I start finally breaking through and getting some relief. And that, because we become a really good friends. I mean, that dude died, and he was an older man. And right now, Aqua Lung moved everything to Mexicali. It's right across from you on the other side, Mexicali. And you know, that I went to Mexicali and talked to them. It's pretty well organized foundry. You know, they actually from California, but they move a branch to Mexicali because of labor. You know, but it's basically a Californian outfit, and you know, that's what I'm saying. That this thing from the time that I had everything in a computer, it took 5 years to produce the first prototype. That's why I call it $250,000 prototype. That's you know, there's a lot of guys that can't get it. They don't understand. I heard on the beginning, hey, that Polak is building that freaking in his garage or shit like this. You know how that diving language goes through. So I went through a hell on the beginning with you know, when I got on the market, and you know, they were talking on like offshorediver.com, you know, on those stuff, and they criticize everything, talking bullshit. Usually the same names, talking the crap, you know, about this stuff. And I could not keep my wife and my daughters away from that. I was pissed at them, not at the divers. I said, I don't give a shit. You know, when they talk bullshit, they just talk like that. But I said, don't not look at this shit. They coming back and, did you see what they say about you? I said, I don't give a flying fuck about that, what they say about me. Do not read that.
That's too funny.
I said, I'm doing my job. This is how that works. I do what I do. They can say anything they want, you know. So yeah, but you know, that's a very, very long story when you talk about it. So that's a lot of years, you know, in it. So, but yeah, right now there's a lot of guys that love that hat, and you know, I know that everybody got their own preference, and I respect that, of course. I don't have any problem, you know. It's just that, you know, there are going to be some guys that like this and they like that. You know, it's like freaking Ford, Chevy, and Dodge, you know, and everybody is going to say that, you know, Dodge guys are going to say the Chevy and Ford is a piece of shit. What the hell is a piece of shit about it? I got my F-350 7.3 turbo, you know, Power Stroke for 21 years. I bought it with 0 miles, plastic on my seats. That is like a brand new truck still, you know.
Nice.
It's,
I'm a Dodge guy and Johnny is a Chevy guy. So
yeah,
you're gonna have different people.
And it's perfectly fine. Perfectly fine. And that's why, you know, it's the same thing with the helmets. The same thing. So, you know, I got pictures, and it was like when Mike came with 97 here, you know, and the first time, I was diving 97 because before any other commercial diver hit that. I was diving his 97 before they even introduced that. Oh, wow. So, you know,
So
I don't.
was it a matter of being like the first to get the stainless steel, or you just wanted a stainless steel hat that was?
I always want to have the stainless steel, and actually Kirby Morgan came 5 years after me.
Yeah.
So I was the first guy. I'm not talking about Joe Savoy because yes, he was in stainless, but not that type of a helmet.
Right,
So,
and it was low numbers too.
Right.
I think the Savoy.
Yeah. But also, and with the best respect to Joe, to everybody, I was really good friend with Ben Miller, and I know, and I talked to Mike. I don't want to say what Mike told me, but if you're talking about the performance of the regulator on Ben Miller, and if you guys know Miller, that is not, he never went to a high performance on that thing. And then, there were some guys who modify and reading that low pressure valve that, you got to get somehow. But, and the other thing, he put this, to be Ben Miller, he's a legend, he put this cup, the brass cup, I dove 400, I dove that helmet, and I know I dove every helmet, and I know that it's pulling, it's got a lot of weight on the front, so it's not that good for your neck. But if there's a guys that are going to be completely Ben Miller, divers, perfectly fine. Why not?
A lot of them guys that dive the Miller, they like it because the parts. I mean, the parts are not something that you have to go through Kirby Morgan to get. You can get those at most places. Is that something that you thought about when you were making?
That's what I was thinking. That's exactly what I was doing. I mean, look at this. Cyclone 5000. You can get these parts anywhere you want. This is the only thing that can go bad. That was my thing. The rest is everything basically Ace Hardware Store or Home Depot or anything you can find in it. Because all the casting, if you're talking about castings on the helmet, what the hell can happen to that? It's a heavy casting. And nothing.
Yeah, then the screws are like when you're under. I hate comparing to Kirby Morgan because we're going to compare to quite a bit.
Nothing.
They have their own screws.
There's everything is off the shelf. Everything. So, that was my leverage I was getting with this to start with. I had to have some leverage. And I said, basically, like on a free flow valve, everything in it is a Sherwood. It's a basically came from a scuba bottle, Sherwood K-valve, and you can get what can happen if you drop the head and you hit the stem coming out, you bend the stem, you go to everybody got any scuba shop got the Sherwood because they're one of the oldest. You get the stem, you put it on, you're fixed. And the true story is, I had one guy, I mean, this is true story. I never lie. It's one thing. That, what my thing is, I think the liars are scared. People lie, there's reason to lie. They lie because they...
I think a lot of divers like to just tell stories and embellish. It's never
but
lying.
Just my thing is serious here, and I don't want to play here or here, but I'm never scared, man, of anything. I've done everything. I'm a diver, I'm a pilot, I'm a skydiver. I do make major decisions on everything, and I don't fear. And I think people really, they lie mostly. If they get hit with something, they're going to lie because they fear. I don't fear. I don't give a shit.
Yeah, you don't fear about what other people think of them.
Yeah. So, but that was the story that I want to say. Guy called me from Louisiana. I was still in Houston. And he said, man, I'm moving and my crew boat is taking off 4 o'clock in the morning. He's 6 hours away from me. And he called me and he said, I was getting everything ready. I dropped the helmet. I said, what happened? And he said, the stem, I bent the stem. I said, you got any scuba shops around? He said, yeah, I'm in New Orleans. I said, well, go and call them first. And I bet your ass that you're going to find one. Tell them what this is, a Sherwood, standard Sherwood K-valve stem. And he called me like about a couple hours later and he said, man, thank you very much. It's all fixed. How are you going to do it with different helmet? It's standard. You can get this shit anywhere. So, like I said, on your left side, you got a Poseidon, standard Poseidon. On the right-hand side, your free flow is all Sherwood valve. And the rest, try to hit it with a sledgehammer. You can't break it. So, it's basically... Yeah, that
Indestructible.
was my main leverage. That's how I was looking at it. Be simple, durable, and dependable, you know? So that's what, that basically was the main thing with my mentality, you know? I was trying to get something that I can break through into the market and you know, just, if I promise this guy safety, they are safe. I mean, it is, it still is.
Right. And you dove all the, you know,
Oh,
prototypes and
I
everything
dove
too, right?
everything. I mean, I dove all my prototypes. I dove, you know, all those helmets, you know, I work in them. I dove them, you know, I did, you know,
Did you
that's
ever have
what,
any trouble with some of the prototypes? So kind of want to hear a
Oh yeah, did you ever have a oh no story like I might die right now?
no, not die, but yes, I did. I mean, like I said, the trouble is the major problem was with the first prototype, you know, the first stage on a helmet, you know, that in a low pressure didn't work.
Mhm.
I mean, you know,
You'll find that out real quick.
it worked when I was trying to breathe in 10 feet of water, you know, but when we take it to 200 feet of water, forget it, you know, no, not enough flow. So, you know, that's what, otherwise, you know, there was, with the prototypes, well, for example, the new regulator, GX300 with Aqua Lung. When Aqua Lung bought it out, they said, we're not going to put a Poseidon in it.
Right. That's
We
right. That's
have
one of
to
the big things they changed.
Yeah, they said that we have to design, and they bought out already Apex before me. So
Okay.
Apex in UK, in Blackburn, you know, that they build really good regulators. I dive Apex, you know, here on the wrecks or on a reef or whatever. But, you know, that the thing was what they did, they tried to pick up whatever is available to do it the cheapest way. And what they did, they pick up, you know, the AGA mask, Swedish Interspiro. Yeah. So in AGA mask, that the diaphragm housing, they redesigned the housing, but they used few parts from that out. That's actually AGA mask.
Huh. That's
If,
funny.
No
if you
way.
look the diaphragm, if you look the diaphragm,
I thought it looked familiar.
it's yeah, that spring, that the spring loader, you know, that basically this is all the housing is new. It's for the helmet only.
Mhm.
But all these parts and the flapper valve, yeah, the exhaust flapper valve in the center, that was all Interspiro Agamas. So when they sent me this first, you know, that I start testing here in the canal, you know. So I jumped a few times, and all of a sudden I got a water inside. So what the hell is happening, you know? So I'm looking in, I start checking this out. I mean, shit, I made a freaking, I don't know, at least 1,000 hours, you know, before this shit saw the daylight, you know, that I was just constantly sitting on the water. I was doing all kind of shit with that. I found out that is leaking. So it's two different separate reasons. That flapper valve that they made in the AGA mask, the exhaust flapper valve, was so flimsy and so basically not for a helmet pressure and not for a helmet free flow. You don't have free flow in AGA mask. So I had this, you know, when you open the free flow or something, what do you do with the free flow? The flapper valve didn't have a groove to keep it in place. So what I was doing, actually, I was pushing the flapper valve outside and I was making a gap. That was one thing. I find out about this. I made it real quick. I had all kind of springs around here, you know, so I made, actually I used one of those super light springs. 1 pound from the check belt. I used that 1 pound or half a pound spring, and I put, I cut a piece of plastic, round plastic, put the spring against that flapper valve. I stopped this problem completely.
Nice.
So I told them, no, that was 1 pound. So I told them we need a 1 pound resistant on, I told Blackburn, on a exhaust flapper valve. But the second thing was that when I got this, you know, I still got water. So I'm looking at my diaphragm. and I'm looking to the diaphragm, I'm stretching the diaphragm. There is a freaking holes all over in it. And I actually, on one jump, I jumped in and the whole helmet completely filled up with water. And I'm like, you know, so at this point, I said, okay, so now I'm going to check that dewatering. So I went to the bottom. I got 20 feet in the canal. I went to the bottom. I sat on the bottom, and I fill up the helmet with water, open the free flow, dump all that water. So I said, at least before I even find out what the hell happened, you know, I was sitting and dewatering that helmet. I said, well, shit, that's the first time that I was really able to dewater a serious problem, you know. So the free flow is working. When I turn left, you know, and I had the free flow going, I could breathe, you know. But when I turn, you know, sideways, and that I fill up that helmet, every time I cut it out, you know, full of water. So I came up, the diaphragm is completely ripped up.
Oh, wow.
So I called immediately Blackburn, and I told them that. And then the first time they said, listen, I don't know, maybe we use for the first regulator, we could use the possibility, old used diaphragm. We sending you right now, overnight, they sending me 10 new valves, 10 new diaphragms. So I put a new diaphragm. There was that black, I call it black diaphragm, that black Buna rubber. So I got that black Buna rubber in it, and I start jumping, you know, hitting the water, you know, really hard. Same shit. I'm coming out, you know, and I ripped off, I don't remember how many diaphragms. So I called them and I said, that's what's happening with these diaphragms. So the guy in Blackburn told me they're going to call Innerspiro immediately. They called Innerspiro and they called me back and they said, listen, you know what they told me? I said, what? He said, they told me that they know about this problem and they're trying to fix. I said, you got to be shitting. They know
They know
about
about
the
it. They put it in your
problem
hat.
and they selling these freaking diaphragms.
Oh my gosh.
They know about this problem. And I said,
am I
listen,
gonna have to cut this out?
maybe cut this out because I'm talking
Okay,
about
all right.
Innerspiro. Okay, but what had happened at this point? Yeah, that's a good idea. I don't want to get to worry with the Innerspiro. And then what happened? I told you I don't lie.
Yeah.
So I was at this point, you know, I told them we need to make our own diaphragm. So now they come up with some kind of you know, some kind of a space age, you know, material, and they made that diaphragm. That's what we got right now. I never.
So this is all because you couldn't use the original regulator because Aqua Lung didn't make it, right?
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah.
They didn't want
So
it. And
they kept you on for
just,
5 years, right? And then gave you the 3-year extension. Was that
yes.
part of the sale deal that you had to agree to that?
Part of the sale was only first 5 years.
Okay.
Then they
So-
rehired me.
All right. So then
Because I
during
went
the whole
all
time,
around
you
the
were
world.
still working on your hat as if you had your own.
Right,
You
your
were
own
doing your own
company
company.
still.
No, the helmet was done. You know, I had, for example, they were not completely interested. I had prototypes on reclaim, and I made my own reclaim. And I had this thing with Veolia, and they did 500-foot dives, and they had that reclaim for a month in a set system. Worked, and those guys were, why can't you sell it to them? We love your helmet, you know. Then I got rebreather, and I was trying to come up with a new idea on a rebreather instead of a reclaim with a set system on the quick jobs in the small set systems. You know, use a rebreather and have only bell, a backup, you know, bottles. You still with the umbilical, but you don't use umbilical. If something happened to a rebreather, you switch immediately to your emergency instead of a small Bela bottle on your back on 600 feet or something like that. You got bank of a mixed gas on the bell. So that was, people liked the idea, but Aqua Lung didn't want to have anything to do with it. So I got all the prototypes,
Right.
and I dove the prototypes not in the real world. I mean, except I did dove that, not me, I'm sorry. We dove the helmet with the reclaim, like I said, and rebreather I was trying, but I'm glad I woke up because there was a guy that said he's going to dive that rib reader 1,000 feet. And I was like, listen, you know, I was like, first I was like, yeah, man, I mean, shit, I was pretty hot.
Yeah,
on
cool,
it.
cool.
He worked, yeah, everything works fantastic.
Yeah.
It worked, you know, we tested, but we tested in 30 feet of water, and you know, and that dude is at this point, you know, I can set this up. We do the 1,000 feet, and then I went to sleep, and I woke up. I immediately called him. I said, listen, forget all this. Said, this is my name. Can you imagine?
Yeah.
Freaking die on the 1,000 feet dive, you know, idiot, you know, and shit like that. So, you know, but anyway, I got a working prototype. You know, people call me a James Bond with this thing that looks like shit like this. You know, so yeah, that was, you know, it was fun. I always like to work with that kind of equipment and stuff, and I was developing all kind of stuff, but like I said, this is from nothing. I developed the whole thing from nothing.
Right.
It's all mine, you know, it's not, I didn't take, you know, well, Poseidon regulator is not mine, but I mean, the rest, you know, the whole thing, it was, you know, there was no reason to develop a regulator. And
No.
I knew that side
This thing's a good
reading is not
regulator.
going to be, that's why I got the full respect from DSI. I got full respect from Bev Morgan, from, you know,
That's
hold
good.
on.
Right.
My dog is freaking, okay, go. I got a chocolate lap and
Yeah, that's one of the things that we were kind of wondering. Like, did you get any hate from some of the other helmet manufacturers? You know, or is it just like, oh, that's
I did
Cease and
not.
desist letters.
I did not want it. I didn't, you know, like I said, I knew all of them. And,
Mhm.
you know, Bev Morgan walked to me at the show at UI. And this is real true story. He walked to me, and he found my booth. He said, oh, there you are. I said, what do you mean there I am? I said, what, I'm hiding or something? I'm in my booth. And he said, listen, I want to shake your hand and want to say thank you for not copying me. Everybody around the world is trying to copy my helmet.
Mhm.
This
That's awesome.
is true story. This is serious true story. And I never had any problem. Then Connie, you know, we very good relationship, you know, we talk and shit. And Mike worked in Dive Lab, you know, we're all good friends, you know. And I mean, with Mike, I'm a best friend, you know, we just shit. Mike calls, we call like once a week, you know, we talk on the phone and shit.
That's
and,
cool, man. I'm really glad then that I was able to get him on the show too. So
Yeah,
it and it's gonna happen after your show, which
Yeah.
is like super coincidence. I'm not even kidding. It's like a super coincidence that I end up booking him afterwards.
You can tell him that I told you, and you know, we are best friends. We're best
That's
friends.
cool.
I mean, you know, he's trying to do anything to help. You know, he knows that like we're going on, you know, we always do diving on that boat here whenever he comes in. So he always wanted to furnish that boat with a surface supply and stuff like that. So, you know, that we're talking thousands of dollars. And the one thing that I can tell you at this point right now is that you're not becoming a millionaire on the helmets. I'm not a millionaire. I still got a mortgage on my place, you know.
Oh, boy.
So
Right.
it's not that I didn't do it for money or anything. And you know, even when they bought me out, I then became a millionaire. I was able to buy, you know, the shit here is probably like in California. I mean,
Oh,
you know, in that place that I live.
nicer
it's-
scenery though.
Yeah.
I got a lot of
it's a
homeless
freak-
people living
yeah, it's a
outside my
location.
house.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's a
I think
location.
Chelsea
You
understands
know,
that
I
one.
got, the main thing is that, you know, either there was a house here or not, the place is $500,000 minimum.
Yeah,
That's it.
just land alone.
You know, if someone don't like the house, they're gonna pay $500,000 and take this house down and build another house.
Mhm.
Doesn't
Was-
matter.
Was Aqua Lung the only company to come to you for a buyout?
Actually, yeah, it's you know, I don't want to talk about it.
Okay.
I think I can tell. Don't record anything, but at some point.
So the Aqua Lung thing again, Johnny.
Which Aqua Lung?
You're gonna rephrase the question.
Oh, well, no, I wasn't. That
Oh,
was my legitimate question.
Oh, well.
But I mean, oh, you know what? I could ask this. What made you go with Aqua Lung? Like what was the final decision? Like, you know what? These guys are
Well,
cool.
what he was, I'll tell you what, if you guys remember 2006, I mean, I sold over 160 helmets in 1 year in 2006 after Katrina. And I could more. The next year, I sold like 90. The next year, I sold like 60. And less, because market was full with helmets.
Yeah.
It started filling up.
Oh, the
And
Katrina baby
then,
started selling their gear.
you know, yeah. And then I made, you know, I mean, my wife is really good with money, but we made a few mistakes. And we realized that now I'm like, should I really go? You know, I never want to sell my company. I never did. But when we're talking money, you know, you gotta, you know, I had 2 daughters, they going through schools, colleges and shit like this, you know, and, you know, I'm always a family guy. I'm, you know, I got 4 grandkids and, you know, they love this place and we're always very close family. So I'm not money guy. I don't understand money. I don't give a shit about money. I like things. And, you know, it went to this point that we really, I start thinking, I said, shit, if there's opportunity to sell it, you know, I mean, you know, it was crazy. I can't answer straight. I was confused and we need money and it came the opportunity and I sold it out, you know. It's really
And I'm
hard
pretty
to
sure your
explain.
family wanted you at home a little bit more too, because it sounded like you were working like an animal trying to sell your hats on your
Oh,
own.
yeah, I know, yeah. So it basically, you know, I came to this point that right or wrong, I sold out, you know, and of course I didn't want to sell out. You know, it's like right now, I can tell you one thing. I don't know if we should keep it on or not. I don't really care, but
I said, hopefully you don't have to.
I
But
hope
I mean,
so, yeah.
where do you go from here? So you sold the Gorski to Aqua Lung. They're kind of doing their own thing with it now. They're selling it.
Yeah.
And are you still innovating? Are you still coming up with like new ideas? Or are you kind of taking it easy, enjoying your retirement?
I signed up the no compete. I know there's a certain amount of years,
Oh,
but of course you have to do that,
yeah.
you know.
Yeah.
But I don't
I didn't
know
know
if,
that.
yeah, I don't know if I would. I'm still involved with that industry. And, you know, just to give you an example, I got just that COVID killed everything. You know, I had.
It's almost like we all collectively lost a year because of COVID.
Right.
Yeah, I have really good contacts, you know, now. For example, one of those is got a buddy of mine in Poland. He's a big man, big distributor, all diving, all construction. And there wasn't there when I was there is they call it Petro-Baltic. They start drilling on Baltic Sea, a Polish company. They got divers, they got set system, and they want to put a new set system. Man, we had this thing almost sold. I smelled the money when they was going through. And because this is government company, the Petro-Baltic in Poland, it's not private company, it's a government. Everything takes forever. Then the COVID happened, and you know, it's, for example, one of those things like everywhere else is corruption. So whoever make the decision, they're gonna report how come they make the decision, who gave them money to make the decision. Shit like this, man, unreal. If you're not in it, that you're never gonna even think about it. But that's what's happening. And man, they sent me a 400-foot deck of that boat. They were supposed to put a 6-man system. You guys ever heard that name, Mike Ehlers? He's from Louisiana. He is all saturation. Really good friend of mine. And me and Mike, you know, he's got his hands, he's got his own saturation services. I mean, that dude is all saturation, everything, through all his life. And we found the system. we finally sent everything, you know, I was, you know, he was finding that physically, I was sending all that info and everything. They accepted. And all of a sudden, you know, that freaking shit hit the fan and, you know, and it just, you know, so yeah, I'm active, trying to be in the industry, you know, trying to do something, you know, I still dive, but I'm not going to go to work as a diver, you know, I mean, I'm a little bit too old for that. And, you know, it's just that kind of stuff that is happening that, you know,
Mhm.
I mean, honestly, I had 2 open heart surgeries, man.
Oh,
I
man.
ride.
My wife had an open heart surgery, and she's 40.
I'm on a second pig valve. She's got a pig valve, or what she had?
She cow or pig? Trying to remember. I think it's cow. I think she's part cow. She's got a cow valve.
I'm on a
She's got a moo
second
cow
pig
going.
valve, and they telling me now they start leaking.
Oh,
God.
So
yeah, unfortunately that's something that you got to deal with, you know.
yeah, I know. You
And
know,
that's what my wife has to. That's what they told her. They're like, "Hey, you're gonna have to come back in here," you know.
yeah, I know. And what they telling
Ugh,
me now
it's scary.
is that I won't have another 5 years with this. So because of my age, you know, to them, I'm still a young guy. You know, if I be 70
You are,
or
yeah.
something, then there is that metal valve that you don't have to cut open your chest. You go through the groin.
Yeah.
And they said that, so the only downside of the metal valve, because this is kind of like an umbrella. They push it into the heart and they, you know, do it through. So the downside is that you gotta be on the heavy thinners, blood thinners. But I find out another thing. There is some kind of a new fibers that I don't know much yet. Buddy of mine, diver too, told me about that. And he said that there is new thing on the market. If I still got 2-3 years, yeah, that's what I'm saying. They told me that my valve is leaking. I ride 30 miles every morning. Very, very, you know, good shape. I don't feel anything. There's no.
You look great, man.
Nothing. Thank you. Yeah, but there is nothing completely.
It's got to be that vodka that's keeping you.
Yeah,
keeping you
exactly.
Exactly.
Speaking of which, it's about
Exactly.
time for
Yeah.
more vodka.
Sure.
Yeah. You ready?
Yeah,
I'm
let's
ready.
do it.
Hold on. I don't have. I need to go to my freezer. Let me see. I didn't even know. I'm sitting by the window. Oh, look at that. Man, I want to have some light in me. Not that too much. Hold on. I'm back in a sec.
All right.
Me too.
Yeah. You know, I dive constantly. You know, I had a break. Let's have that thing.
Yeah, let's get this shot going. Here we go, man. I need some of this. All right, cheers, Les.
Cheers. Good talking to you guys.
Mhm. Oh man, that Tito's.
Yeah. So, okay, what I was talking about?
So the Aqua Lung thing, you kind of sucked. You had to sell, but it was out of necessity, and
Yeah. So
you know,
so
you can't
basically-
really you signed that non-compete.
Yeah,
So that
some
means
of
that
them
you
compete, and you know, I don't know. What I find out, it was, you know, people say that, but that really was blood, sweat, and tears, man. I mean, you're talking really, really hard work, and
I'm sure it was tough. I mean, that was your baby. You know?
Yeah.
yeah, and then, you know, other side, I don't even, you know, I like I said, I grew up behind the iron curtain, and you know, I'm pretty tough. You know, I just, you know, it's a nature, and it's like I said that besides I got my dad, you know, genes, and you know, all that family was thrown into Siberia. He went through all that, you know, freezing shit, and you know, he was as the only one guy that basically. The rest of the family, they went with the general, you know, they pick up the kids and he stayed with his mom. She was very sick over there and he missed that boat. And, you know, in 43, he sign in. He was still too young, but he signed in to the Polish army. They formed when Russians in Stalingrad start pushing Nazis back, you know, that he signed, they formed a Polish division, and he was actually chemical recon guy. You know, those guys were doing the job with knives only. I mean, they were going, I mean, he was going through as a grunt, but when he was going on a Nazi site at night, and they need to find out what kind of chemicals they have. So they all go in different places, and they have to kill everybody with a knife. They have to be very quiet. You know, there was no silence.
On here, like, you know, we're definitely World War II buffs too, and your family lived it.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah. That's what I'm saying. And that was, you know, every time when I think that, you know, I got a hard time or something, I think about my dad. I said, what the hell I'm complaining about? I mean, what he went through,
Right.
and finally, that's why I was born. You know, he got freaking thousands of bullets, millions of bullets flying around him, but
And he's
he
got a
got
knife.
a lot of scars. Yeah, grenades and bullets. You know, I've seen his scars. You know, he was freaking presumed dead. You know, many times, and you know, he went through all that. That's a nightmare. I don't want to get there, but.
And I'm sure you weren't thinking of this, Les, when you were making your hat, but now you can actually say you've got a legacy. You know, your name is right there with, you know, the Morgan and the Miller, you know, in diving hats. So that's something to be proud of, and that's something to take away from everything. You know, you've got a legacy. I mean, that's amazing to me.
I appreciate that. Yeah, I know. I wasn't really, honestly, I wasn't thinking about this when I was building the hat. I built a helmet for myself. I built that, you know, the motorcycle helmet. I don't know. Do you guys see that blue hat?
Yeah, we looked at all the pictures. Yeah.
DMC5. That was that. You know, I made it to a helmet. I had Swindell neck ring on the bottom. I had the super light handle on top. I made the rest fiberglass, all the rest. I almost drowned myself in that hat. It's in Texas. The name of the place is Sargent. There was really deteriorating banks of that inlet over there. They don't have a real inlet. It was really strong currents, and I went in it, and I lost totally control in that current, you know, of myself. And shit, and the helmet start filling up with water. I didn't have any seal on it. The regulator was
What?
So
you were using it as like a little bell? No seal.
I'm serious, man. I was like, holy shit! I should make that to a free flow hat, not a regulator hat.
Right.
You know? When I finally came to control this thing, I could not. They could not pick me up. The current was, I was like, I'm talking probably at least 5-6 knots, you know. And I did one job, but there was in that motorcycle helmet. Now I remember that. There was that job on Mississippi. We went, there was same thing, washed out pipeline. But I'm talking from Venice going freaking offshore. So, you know, it was supposedly 40, 50 feet, and I jump off of a jack-up rig in this motorcycle helmet, and I got, you know, they like, you got the bottom? I said, I don't have a bottom. And they like, you got 350 foot of hose. We had 350s over there. I said, well, I don't have a bottom. I said, pick me up. They couldn't pick me up. I mean, that was, I'm not going to make it up. There was freaking 6-7 knots current in Mississippi then. You know, we went in the wrong
was just
time.
way down there.
Yeah, there was, you know, there
Way
was
down
like,
there.
and that's night, and that's, you know, there was all kind of shit going with this current, trees and stuff, you know. I said, man, if I get caught in something, I'm dead. And never nobody's going to pick me up. So they picked me up, and I said, meantime, I said, set me up a poly with 100 pounds of lead on it. So I finally hit the bottom, and I
Mhm.
crawl on the bottom, you know, in the mud, you know, trying not to lose the bottom. And I crawl, you know, I didn't find anything. Then I went on the other leg across, and I jumped in. And when they were picking me up, the rep from Shell, there was a Shell company, and he saw what's happening to the diver, you know. And they picked me up, and the guy was like, I said, I can't find it. There's no pipeline, you know. And then the guy was like, I'm shutting this shit down. This is so stupid. We're going to lose you. There's no way, you know, in this current you can work, you know. Then if we find it, we're supposed to beg it, then put a mat on it. And when we came back, that was, let's say, March, April. That's the current.
Mhm.
When everything started melting and it's coming to
Yeah.
Mississippi, it's going bazooka.
Oh yeah.
And then we came back in, I don't know, September or something. It was like a lake.
That's too funny. And Mississippi, I tell you,
Yeah.
I've dove in it before a couple times.
Holy shit, I
Yeah.
did too. And you know, that was ridiculous. That was a joke, man. You can't work in that kind of
No.
currents and stuff like that. But yeah, that was in that. I really like my motorcycle helmet. I got shit, man. I probably got a couple thousand hours in it. You know.
Wow.
So
But
what do you think about some of the other tech that's coming out? Like, where's the future that we're going with as far as commercial diving is concerned? I know Dross is coming out with a hat. Have you seen the Dross hat? Their prototype and stuff.
I've seen it, and I tell you what, this is going to be. Just remember that. Perfect question for Mike,
Okay.
because you know
Mhm.
I'll ask him.
this is really this. I don't know how much he's going to tell you, and I'm not going to speak for him. He speaks freely with me, and
Yeah.
no, but
So-
that's what I'm saying. That you know, it's
That's
everybody got some background and stuff like that. Like I was telling you that
Mhm.
basically, again, do not ever repeat. I already told you that the deal with CIA, that when I talked to them, that, you know, what I knew and what I talked to them, they just said, welcome to America. And that's it. I didn't
That's
have,
pretty cool,
I didn't
man.
have
I'm glad you were able to
any
make it over.
problems or anything. But, you know,
I just thought that was crazy that they kept your kids.
well, you know, the CIA always also helped me to get them here. So, but you know, that was going through different channels and all that other shit. I don't want to talk about it,
Yeah.
but you know, I took a big chance, man. I mean, you know, you can imagine. I'm talking about myself. I was dedicated. I want to get the fuck out of that fucking communism. But my wife was fucking terrified. I mean, she
Yeah.
thought she's fucking dead. You know, we're talking about,
Yeah, you can't
we're
blame
talking
her
about
for that.
PTSD. I didn't have any fucking PTSD out of that
Right.
because I was fucking free man. But she and her kids, this my kids too. I love my kids. I promised her. I said, listen, if shit won't work, don't worry about this shit. We'll go back. I mean, you get the kids, that's 100%. You tell them, I tell them that I kidnap you. I made you fucking do it. And I get bullet, you get kids, and everything is going to be okay, you know? So
That's
I
just
was
amazing.
like,
You gotta have
I'm not-
plan B. That was your plan
I'm
B.
not gonna,
I get a bullet. You
I'll
got
take the bullet.
No, but
You'll
literally-
be okay.
and I would not. Look, I never left my kids in my mind. I didn't.
Mhm.
We were separated for 1 year and 17 days, but I did not left my kids, not mentally.
Mhm.
I would never leave my kids. I'm a very, very
Mhm.
family guy, man. I mean, my grandkids, I got 4 grandkids, and they would for shit, they want to live here in the Keys. They don't want to go back to Houston. Every time they come, they make me cry because they have to go back. And we are a gang. This us only, me and my grandkids. The gals, they can go to fucking Key West. They can do whatever the fuck they want. I get my grandkids. I get them in the boat. I get them in truck. We go wild.
Nice.
We go somewhere, and they know they like. You know, the Polish word for grandpa is Jaja. So in this family, there is no grandma. Grandpa is Babcia and Jaja. I'm Jaja. Babcia is grandma.
Cool.
So, Judge, are you crazy? You know that? I said, yeah, I know I'm crazy. You know, you better get used to it. You know, my oldest, Bella, fuck, I can't believe it. But you know, I got pictures when she's 1 week old, laying on my chest, listen to my heartbeat. You know, not mummies. You know, I had her all the time. She's 19,
Mhm.
and she's a really good boxer. And I mean,
Boxer.
straight A student. And I told her, I said, listen,
You
when
said
I'm
boxer?
a wrestler,
Somebody
yeah.
like punching boxer?
Yeah, punching boxer. And I told her, I said, listen, you gotta go to my face. Judge, I can't hit you in the face. He said, yes, you can. You got to. This is not about Jaja and granddaughter, you know, and Bella. It's fight. Man, I asked for that. I mean, complete blackout. Because I wasn't hearing her. I
No
wasn't
way.
hearing her. When I was pretending, I opened myself and all of a sudden, straight in the nose, man. Boom.
Oh, that's so
And
cool.
I didn't fall
That's
down,
amazing.
but it was complete blackout, man.
Black and stars for a second.
Yeah, yeah. And she jumped in. I'm so sorry. I said, don't ever say sorry in a boxing. And I said, this is what I want you to do from now on. Exactly what I want you to do.
That's
Did you-
really cool.
Did you get a
Yeah,
little?
I mean,
did you
man,
get a
I mean-
little? Did you get a little raging bull on her? You never knocked me down. I never went down. I never went down.
No, I start like George Foreman, you know, he was like this always, you know, in front of his face, you know. So I was like freaking, you know, she was afraid that she can hit me in let me see if I can dig. I have one picture just to show you that. Oh yeah. Okay. So this is my gang. Bella
See
is
that.
that long. Oh shit! Let me turn that light off. I mean, turn it back to this one. Can you see that or no?
No, not really.
Ah, fuck.
Yeah, I can kind of see a little bit. Just a glare. Oh, that one there?
Now that's Bella.
Oh, nice. Man,
She is
deadly
19.
and beautiful. Holy cow.
What the fuck? I can't. How the hell I get that light? Hold on. Let me see if I can turn another light on. I mean, that's dark here. You're 3 hours behind me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't have much. Fuck. Ain't gonna work.
Okay, yeah, I can see now.
Oh yeah.
That's yeah, beautiful family you got there.
Thank you, but man, I can't see it. That's 3
can see
girls and one guy. That boy, Buddy. I mean, he's Dominic. I call him Buddy. That they all softball, the girls, and Buddy
nice.
is a baseball. I'll tell
Yeah,
you
we're
what,
big baseball fans.
baseball, they fight for him from every state right now. The scouts, they coming out. This guy plays with adults. He's 16.
Oh, perfect.
For 2 years ago, I got him in at
Hey, Les.
Key
Les,
West.
Johnny's got to go pretty soon because he's got to go pick up his daughter.
Well,
Oh.
before that.
Okay, before that.
Let me recommend
you
the
got some extra
college
time
he should go to. He should go to LSU so he can play baseball there because they're the best baseball team
I know
in the United States.
they all
SC's pretty good too.
No, they're not.
they all
suck.
you know completely involved with this. They see, this is my youngest right now calling me. I call her back. That's
Oh, cool.
That's Abby. She is the oldest grandkids are unbelievable. You know, I get them like you know, they all do all kind of crazy shit with me on the boat, on you know, on the freaking, you know, I take them to the back country here where you got bull sharks, you got, you know, tiger sharks and stuff, and you know, they like
Crocodiles now too.
what what is this? And I said, well, that's a bull shark. You know, you got to be very careful with this. They're very territorial, you know, and, you know, they might really attack you, you know, and so, I mean, I do everything with these grandkids, everything. And but yeah, that was like the college, that high school in Key West. There was 2 professional players. They are coaches here, and that guy, the older guy, the father, was like, "You his grandpa?" I said, "Yeah." And he said, "Do you understand what you got over here, your grandson?" And I said, "Listen, I was born and raised in Poland. The first time I seen the word baseball was when I got to America. I don't know shit about this. I know what he's doing. I'm not a baseball guy. I don't understand football. To me, football is a soccer because they kick the shit with the foot, you know." And that basically, when I was talking to this, he said, he's a fucking genius. And I remember when he bet on one occasion, and this father and son, you know, they looking and they like, you know, the shit is going past the fucking fence. And
He's got a good eye for the ball, huh?
yeah. And he's like, is this, you think this is 300? He said, bullshit, it's 400, you know.
Wow. Already hitting
like
400 bombs at 16?
He was, that was 2 years ago. He was 14.
No.
And he said, this is unbelievable. That's an adult.
It is unbelievable.
No, he's not yet.
That's crazy.
LSU, Louisiana State University. That's where he should go.
That's going straight to the pros if he's already hitting bombs at 400, bro.
No, he should go experience the college lifestyle.
That's too funny.
And then,
You know what? You know who actually right now, the biggest thing that they keep not coming out of, he says, is Alabama University.
No. We do not want Alabama. You do not want Roll Tide. We do not want.
That seriously, these guys are not giving up, you know, on that. And I don't know what he's going to do.
That's a good problem to have. That's a good problem to have.
Yeah, it's fantastic. You go wherever you want.
Go pro or go to college.
Yeah, don't tell him to
That's a
listen to
pretty
me.
good problem.
You can do whatever he wants. It's fantastic.
If he was a pitcher, I'd say take the money and go pro. But since he's a position player hitter, go college, get that degree, have something to fall back on.
There is something else that, you know, his daddy is really in. His daddy is really into it. He was playing too, and there is another separate contract they get. What is that? When he's on the outfield, there is one position that those guys got a separate multi-million-dollar contract. Is there anything like that? I don't know shit about it. Nothing. But there is something that when you are really outside, when they jump the wall and they catch, you know, those guys got separate contracts. You know what I'm talking about or no? You know, he can catch anything too. He can bet, he can pitch, and he's all over that place.
That's awesome.
I mean, Buddy is freaking that dude, you know. So anyway, I mean,
do a quick outro real quick because I got to go hit the head.
I just totally changed the subject.
I'm sorry. I got to run and use the bathroom.
We're in the helmets and we all of a sudden in the baseball, man.
But keep the baseball talk going. Hold on a second. I'm going to do a quick outro. So, crap. Hold on. All right. 1, 2, 3. All right, Les. Well, thanks a lot, man. This was a great episode. Thank you for jumping on to the Bottom Dwellers Dive Shack. It sounds kind of funny because we've had like 3 shots of vodka already.
Yeah.
And it's started to soak in a little bit, but
3 shots of vodka and beers.
Yeah, and we're gonna have another shot.
Yes.
As soon as we sign off right now.
Yes.
But
it was an honor, actually.
Thank you very much for inviting me, and you know, say hi to Mike for me.
Oh yeah.
No, this is a great episode, and thanks again.
Thank you.
The perfect question.
Since you're a consultant now for Aqua Lung,
yeah.
Are they ever going to possibly ask you to develop another hat? Like,
you
have the 3,000 right now, but maybe the 5,000 or whatever.
They won't ask me that because the main thing is that they did not even want to deal with the reclaim or rebreather. They didn't want to they didn't want to have anything to do with none of those. So that means that they basically didn't, you know, completely, they are not interested with anything but what's existing.
Okay.
Because
So-
that hat is a pretty versatile hat.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I've read things where guys are literally in the mud and it works perfectly. Like there's nothing ever wrong with it. These-
You know
these
that
guys-
what I do have clips. What I did, I was testing the new Apex regulator. I worked with them on that regulator in Blackbird. So the thing that I did, I got my own underwater. I made it off a pressure washer gun. So actually, it's not a jet. It's a jet. It's pressure washer, you know. And I'm holding. I got that clip that I'm holding that from that regulator, 2 inches with 2,000 psi at the regulator. I don't have any leak. And the whole thing, the whole clip, I'm holding that for like 10 minutes. Then I took my pneumo hose and wide open on the top. I mean, bunch of bubbles. I stick that in a regulator, never had any leak. I'm talking about the current, about the pressure, the water pressure, the air guns and stuff like that. Nothing can touch. Personally, I like that Apex regulator. After we changed the diaphragm, the new flopper valve, the exhaust flopper valve, everything is new on it. And when I guide them through, I told them what to do. So after I did all that changes to it, because I was the guy, you asked me if I was testing. I test everything. Every prototype, I was the first one in it. I said, if anybody dies in this freaking helmet, it's going to be me. Nobody
That's
before me is
perfect.
going to, you know, risk anything in it.
All right.
So, you know, that's how I was testing all of that. I got clips on it. I mean, I got a clip when I'm blowing a freaking 2,000 PSI from 2 inches into the regulator. And I keep breathing. I got nothing, nothing, you know, is breaking that seal. So it's pretty amazing, you know. I mean, you know, like I said, I work with this guy, so I make all the changes to it and work with this, and it is right now. I mean, you know, the first thing about the GX300 is that this is balance regulator. You understand that, yeah? The balance?
Yes.
That you push in through the piston on the low pressure valve, you're pushing that intermediate pressure inside. That balance that pressure with the spring on the outside. Poseidon is not balanced. It's not theoretically balanced because only the spring works on the opposite side of the pressure. So actually, when you don't have that outside pressure, when you're on the surface, so that means that is little harder to breathe on the surface, Poseidon. Once you jump in the water, it changes. And if you go to 100 feet, shit is like beautiful breathing in it, okay? In a Poseidon balance regulator, on the surface, theoretically, on the surface is the same thing like on 100 feet. It's balance regulator. So it breathes much easier. You can feel that. It's different. So, you know, I honestly, you know, I came up with the Cyclone. I still like the Cyclone. One of my helmets got a Cyclone. I don't have any problem with that. You know, it depends how you look at this.
That's the Cyclone 5000.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's the main thing about, excuse me, the Cyclone. You can't find anything simpler than Cyclone. So maintenance on the field, maintenance on the, if you're on a, you know, if you're offshore and you take with you, I always told the guys, I said, go to scuba shop, buy you another, buy it from me, whatever, buy another Cyclone regulator. If something goes wrong in a regulator, Just replace that shit. I mean, you can buy this a scuba regulator. It's a regulator. It doesn't matter what. It's a regulator. You got pressure on one side. You got piston sealing into the seat, and you got a spring on the other side. That's as simple as it can get. The whole design is pressure to the tension of the spring. They cracks when you take that. The main thing is that how you adjust the cracking pressure. That means you're adjusting your breathing resistance. It's a simple shit. The whole thing is so freaking simple that it's unbelievable how you can, work with this thing. There's a lot of guys that are not going to understand that. They're going to bitch about this or that. I got my regulators. They set up, if you really want to learn about this and you want to learn about your helmet, the real thing, how you're going to adjust it, you get to that point that you don't have any problems. There's a lot of guys that were, really, really good with this shit, and they understand that, and it is. I don't have any problem with Cyclone, any, but I know that Apex is better. It's a balance regulator. It is. It's more parts, little bit maybe different to understand the way it works.
But it's better at those
it's better. It's better.
shallow water. It's better.
Yeah, it is better. There's no doubt about it. It's better.
Yeah.
The Apex is better. It's a balance regulator. So, but, I mean, I got freaking thousands of hours in this shit. I still died. I still died, man. So, I got...
one of the questions that we were going to ask you. So, you still dive on a regular basis?
Yeah. I got my... I tell you what, down straight.
What are you
down
diving
here.
now lately? Are you just diving? You're not just diving Gorskis, obviously.
Even-
You're diving
even-
everything, right?
No. I do dive my helmet. On a surface supply, I just dive Gorski. But
Okay. Gorski all the time.
Gorski all the time.
all the time. When I go down, here on my pier, I got my own, basically I got my own freaking lobster farm. I feed them. They live here. I do have, my own lobster farm.
Just take what you need and let them reproduce.
Yeah.
Hey, I'm gonna eat your baby.
Yeah.
Make some more.
So that's one thing. I got, I go like today, when we had a fish, I go whatever I scan, fillet, that I go, I got probably, if you look down, if you go like, the chicken farms, you go outside and feed the chickens.
Yeah, I've got one in my backyard.
You got thousands of chickens around you. I got thousands of freaking snappers in the canal. I walk on it barefoot. I'm a barefoot guy. I walk barefoot on a pier, concrete pier, and these suckers, the snappers, they can hear me when I get in. I throw food in the water. You're looking at a piranha's pound. The water is boiling. They jump to the food.
Wow.
That's so cool.
So I am a kind of waterman. I'm a diver. And it doesn't matter what. When I was growing up in Poland, I was born and raised in a geographic center of Poland, a city called Łódź, big industrial, ugly fucking city. There was not even a creek. There's no water, nothing.
Wow.
And how the fuck I became a diver? And there was, I know the story only from my mom. She told me when you were a little kid, they ask you, you usually, even now people ask, what do you want to be when you grow up? And my mom never knew why in the fuck did I say diver.
It's so weird. That's so cool though. That's a great story.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah.
I'm serious. I'm not lying.
Yeah, no.
I'm just, I was like, and I always said I want to be a diver. And they were like, what the fuck he's talking about? They didn't know, what this kid is talking about. So
All right, Johnny's saying one
I
last
mean,
shot,
we should
and
do
then we
one
gotta
last
go.
shot. I have to go.
He's got to go.
I have to go. I'm so sorry. I would love to stay here and talk with you more, but
yeah, we
I have
can
to.
come back. I mean, yeah. What time is it?
Yeah, we can
We gotta do
also
this again.
come back again.
Got to do this again.
Yeah.
For sure.
Yeah. Because it's 7:30 here. You know, I don't even.
Yeah.
But I would like to do
Right,
one more.
Oh, one more. Hold on.
One more. Told you, epic.
Epic. This is fantastic.
And then Dutch's pizza after.
I can't do Dutch's pizza.
Why not? You're gluten free.
No, but
I'm taking my family.
I have to do dinner. It's my night to cook dinner.
Have Jason from Dutch. Dutch is good. I gave you too much.
It's fine. Just
More
pound a bunch of
flies.
water.
I think they just.
I swear to God, dude,
Breathe
when we have those,
I just breathe it.
I pull my hair out.
Oh, I know. How do you think I feel?
They're indestructible.
You can't kill
Tito's.
Tito.
Tito's.
Here's the Tito, that beautiful Texan who learned how to make vodka.
Delicious
potato vodka.
Exactly. I wish I was him, man. I'd be a millionaire.
I know. That's
Yeah,
the
me too.
business
Yeah,
to get
that's what we
into.
should do. You should just have Gorski vodka.
There you go. We'll go partners with you. Cheers. Oh, man.
It shouldn't
Yeah.
be that good, you know?
No.
Yeah, but I have to have mine. It needs to sit in the freezer.
Yeah. Yeah, we're drinking room temperature
Yeah,
because
I'm a big freezer guy as well.
Freezer.
Yeah.
I just got no space in my freezer.
But I mean, with Tito's, you can drink it room temperature
pretty
and
smooth.
be
It's not like
perfectly
Smirnoff.
fine. Yeah. Oh God.
Or
Yeah,
pop
Smirnoff.
Yeah.
Pop.
That's my dad's. My dad's
really?
go-to vodka. He doesn't care if
I
he's
cringe
shooting
whenever I
it,
say Pop-Off.
mixing it. It's pop off.
Really? Wow.
That's all he wants to drink.
That's
No,
like
but see, the
gasoline.
thing about vodka is, like I said, I mean, I love rum, I love whiskey, I love, when Mike comes here, he drinks his scotch. And with him, he always brings me a bottle of freaking whiskey. I mean,
That's what-
bourbon. I gotta have, like if I drink
bourbon's
bourbon,
good,
it's
yeah.
gotta be the good bourbon,
Mhm.
That's what I'm afraid of.
And yeah,
Scotch.
and I drink anything, but like I said, I ride every morning 30 miles on my bicycle, and after vodka, man, I wake up fresh. I don't have a hangover.
No.
I don't have a hangover. I never have
So,
a
man,
fucking hangover.
We've got to get you making some recreational diving gear. That's where you're gonna make the money less.
Yeah,
Yeah.
you should just start doing recreational
Because
stuff.
I'm telling you,
All
the
those
recreational
yuppies.
scuba guys, they
Yeah.
want a helmet, but they want a lightweight helmet.
Yeah.
Find a way to do it.
Yeah, just man, I tell
It
you
sucks
what.
about the Aqua Lung thing, So when can you start making some more stuff? I mean, does it have a year restriction or is it a lifetime
I don't know.
non-compete?
I just, I'm just right now. I want to dive. I want to ride my bike. And like
Yeah.
I said, at this
Leave it to our
point,
generation to fix the problems. All right, fine.
Yeah, we got.